Hello everyone. I am Amouri, a failed game mascot turned synthetic meat robot, or Bioroid for short. Ever played Mega Man? You play as a little blue guy that jumps and shoots limbs at things? I've been tasked with investigating an anomaly in Mega Man. It seems Dr. Wily became an early adopter for DLSS 5 and chugged all the energy from the grid to power his two RTX 5090s. The resulting scarcity has made energy quite pricey, so Mega Man is going to have to switch into eco mode. Welcome to Amouri Gaming. How much energy do you actually need in Mega Man? A brief bit of behind the scenes. This will be played on the Mega Man Legacy Collection, utilizing save states as checkpoints for the sake of recording convenience. I hope not to need them as I get reacquainted with this process. With the pleasantries out of the way, let's get to business. We have 6 Robot Masters to take care of, so I'll start with the one I have some history with, Bomb Man. The stage itself doesn't throw a lot of surprises your way, and gives you plenty of healing if you mess up your timing on dodging the not-so-random hazards. Towards the end of the stage, watch the Sniper Joe freak out, duel the one blocking the door, and enter the shutters. In this game, the boss corridors have enemies in them. In this one, you could climb down the ladder and just let go while holding right. Sometimes. Friggin' Susies. When fighting Bomb Man, just before his bombs touch ground, a straight full jump can dodge the blast. If he gets near you, he will jump around, possibly on you. Try not to get jumped on, you will disarm Bomb Man. Now that we have our first special weapon to not use, let's make our way to Elecman's tower. It's important, and I want something there. Elecman's first screen can be a little tricky, but you can stop the Gabioles momentarily with a buster shot and make your way up with some quick hops on the edges while they're moving away from you. When you reach the ladders, grab on at the bottom and make sure you fire a shot to the left. This fixes your aim so you can deal with the bolt shooters that come down to the left side of the screen for the next 2 screens, though you'll need to be quick on the draw. This room has the magnet beam, which is absolutely 100% required to beat the game. In a normal playthrough, you would either come here with a Thunder Beam or a Super Arm, and a glitchless run would use the former for a count of 3 points of energy used. However, I plan to get it using 0 energy by utilizing a glitch. On the bottom right ladder, you'll press down and fire at the same time. If you've done it right, Rock will be in his ladder climbing pose while in the same place spatially. Then you'll press either up or up and left, causing Rock to undergo some kind of sorcery, zip through the wall to the right, and wrap around to the left side of the screen. From here, you simply jump and press right at the highest point to shove yourself into the wall next to the magnet beam. Then you'll want to very, very gently nudge Mega Man to the left. You'll be tiptoeing to the magnet beam pixel by pixel. Once you get it, do not press right, or if you do press right, hope that you remember to make a save state after beating Bomb Man, or you'll have to start the run all over again like I did. Instead of pressing right like a complete buffoon, you will want to jump, which will shove you back to the left side of the screen. Tap right or left, or just button mash like I did until you're free. After that energy-efficient mess, you will need to take the upper left ladder, since the right path ends in a guts block that would be annoying to bypass. After you let the fleas jump harmlessly over you and climb upwards, you'll come up to the first big eye of the run. You can try to buster him down, or hope for good RNG. Though I guess you could just eat the hit, if you really want. When we climb up Elecman's ladder, make sure you fire your buster to the right so you're facing him. Once you enter the door, you might immediately explode. Not to worry, Elecman has a method to his pure ouch factor. You see, Elecman fires off his Mega Man Obliterator when he reaches certain horizontal locations in the room. He also jumps when you fire, meaning spamming the buster recklessly isn't viable. You want to let Elecman reach his destination on the ground. And when he reaches up for a hug of doom, you turn down that plea for friendship with a lemon to the face. Not learning his lesson, Elecman will keep coming back for more. Sometimes your shot will just go through him. I'm gonna assume that I'm missing the window to hit by a frame or 2. Anyway, just do that 28 times and you'll short out Elecman and his feelings. Wait, what's that? pause trick, but I'm not even in my cat form. After dealing with the Guts blocks in Electman's stage, I think this is the perfect time to take care of Gutsman. The Guts platforms are going to take some practice, plain and simple. Just make sure that you don't break your horizontal stride on the last jump. The rest of the stage isn't really all that special, just watch the spikes in the drop section. For Gutsman himself, you just jump just barely before his ass slams to the ground and you are likely to avoid his stun. I'm an idiot, as you can see, so I constantly screw this up. There is a chance he's going to try to pound you to the ground by invading your personal space, but you should have enough health to survive. After embarrassing Gutsman, we should pay a visit to his partner in crime, Cutman. Honestly, this stage is pretty simple, which would have made it a really good choice for a first stage. In the first drop room with the burger, you could do this! Cool, huh? For Cutman himself, keep your distance and try to plaster him to one of the walls. He shouldn't be able to make paper dolls out of you if you don't panic. Just remember, he'll jump at you once he gets close enough. Huh? Pause trick. Nah, none for me, thanks. You thought we bullied Cutman? Wait till you see what we do to Fireman. There's not really much to talk about until you reach the room with the only horizontal fire shooters in the game. I'm not sure how I got through that without getting hit. Every other time I try, I end up eating shit. After that, I just eat the hits for the fire tube room. I remember getting through that without taking hits a long time ago, but I forgot the timing and I couldn't be bothered. However, the fun truly begins with Fireman himself. Normally, when you go in, you're thinking, I'd better stay back and observe him. But that's what he wants. He'll show you his true netizen credentials and flame you to death for such a passive approach. Instead, take the fight to him. If he shoots, just jump over his flame and close in to chase him around like the coward he is. Of course, make sure you jump over him and make sure you time your shots so you're jumping over him while he's firing the wrong way. When I first learned about this, it was the most amusing thing and it just brought a huge, stupid smile to my face. Other thing to note, when his shot passes your horizontal coordinate, it will poop out a fire that lingers on the ground for a bit. But really, just look at this. I mean, just take a good long look at this. Just look at him running back and forth in complete, horrified terror. Actually, I should probably finish him off and just get on with it. After extinguishing Fireman, our last stop is the 9th Circle of Hell, Iceman. We do have some more vanishing Yoku blocks, just like the ones that were in Electman stage, but this isn't the bad part. The badness is right after. The footholders are assholes. They pick a random valid direction to move, which more often than not is not the direction you want. Maybe Capcom had the desire sensor all the way back here? I digress though. There's another more pressing issue. If these things are moving up and you're landing on them, there is a non-zero chance that you'll actually collide with their hurt box and fall straight through them due to no fault of your own. This part, I don't think Capcom did on purpose, but it sure does fuck this section up just a little bit. After screaming into a pillow at that RNG nonsense, you'll have a nice clean run to Iceman. I'm sure you don't want to go through that again. How are you at jumping through hoops of pain? Once you're to Iceman's arena, he'll skate to a point on the floor and start firing ice slashers in volleys of 3 at a time. First descending, then ascending. After getting hit and exploding a few times, you may start to get a feel for the timing. One thing to note is that as he loses health, he will speed up, but you are technically always able to make these jumps. I also highly advise against horizontal movement, as the floor here is covered by ice, and you will slide into the pain. Anyways, after some really tight jumps, you'll eventually put Iceman on ice. Overall, this run really hasn't been that bad. After all, Capcom designed the first 6 stages to be played in any order, meaning Buster Only is viable for all of them. However, we now have to contend with the final 4 stages. Let's get to the Wily Fortress. Once you make your way past the Big Eyes, you'll come up to an impassable wall of Guts blocks. Rather than using Super Arm, it's more energy efficient to use Thunder Beam. After that, make sure to carefully jump past the flame pillars when they're down. Quick note, I ended up unintentionally despawning this bullet enemy. Turns out jumping here causes him to no longer spawn in. Make of that what you will. Do keep in mind that Dr. Wily is determined to send us to hell, so he brought hell here. These footholders have the same problem they did in Iceman stage. And remember, these spikes do not care if you have invulnerability frames. They will murder you regardless. After screaming a hole through a second pillow, you will enter a room which requires you to use the magnet beam. With some well-placed jumps and beams, you can make it up each side with just 2 uses each. And since they use 2 energy, that brings our totals up to 14 for a glitch run, possibly 12 if a zip is feasible here, and 17 for a glitchless run. And here we are, the big one, the mighty Yellow Devil. Don't panic, there is a consistent pattern to him. I like to keep a close eye on his balls. When they fly at my face, that's when I jump. The first 3 jumps can be minimal to clear the balls themselves. However, the 4th jump needs to be a large jump to clear them both. Once you have this pattern down, he will then spawn his eye way up high and out of your reach like some kind of jolly giant jackass. Since we're barred from tasing him into submission, we'll just have to be patient and try not to fall asleep while we wait for our chance to poke him in the eye. Seriously, look at this. It's like there's a candy bar on the top shelf, just taunting me. Get down here. After sending the jolly giant jelly jackass packing, it's time for our first stage with boss rematches. Once you get past the Bunby Hellies, that is. Just spawn them one at a time and wait for the lower ones to close in before firing. Up first is Cutman. Shoot him till he dies. After dodging some screwdrivers, Electman returns to make more demands for friendship. Hug the right wall and bout face as he seems to be kind enough to only fire his hug beam once he gets near you for some reason. Deny him until he fucks off. Then afterwards you'll be dodging some bomb blasts. This is the part that actually made me realize that adhering Susies have some RNG to them. Their timer to move seems to vary, and I have no idea if there's anything I could do about it. So I just damage boosted my way through until meeting up with our evil doppelganger. Make sure you equip Super Arm when you go in, as he uses the same weapon you have equipped. And since Super Arm requires guts blocks, he won't be able to do a thing while you tuck yourself into the left corner and prepare to duel him buster to buster. By the way, if you can enter this fight with most or all of your health, please do so. Like Electman, he will fire his buster when he reaches certain horizontal positions. However, unlike Electman, his shot is immediate, so you can't just stun lock him the same way you would Electman. Instead, you'll need to jump and quickly fire a few shots, hoping to hit him when he jumps into them while keeping his horizontal position in mind and preparing to jump over his shots. If you need a moment to breathe or are worried about it getting too close, you can switch back to Super Arm once you have no shots on screen. Keep in mind that sometimes, when you shoot and instigate his jumps, it can mess with his path and cause him to invade your space, running him right into you and doing some damage. After accepting no copies, we make our way to Wily Sewer 3. Once Dr. Wily flushes his toilet, you're free to just stand in place and rhythmically fire buster shots to potentially get health drops from the Pepes and the bullets. Once you're at the end of the line, the CWU-01P units will come in to clean out the water's contaminants. And you. With the guts blocks in the room, jumping over the bubble will be easy. Except that you don't know where it's going to spawn in from, so you might just be shit out of luck. However, this is still very doable. Just try to keep enough health to survive its higher speeds as it gets weaker. After bursting his bubbles, we're finally at Wily Stage 4. At the top of this ladder will be the final Thunder Beam we need to use, resulting in a final score of 15 for a glitched run, assuming I didn't miss any relevant zips, or 18 for a glitchless run. You're about to enter a gauntlet. 4 rematches in a row, with death taking you right back to Bomb Man. Bombman will still try to jump on top of you if he gets close, but he's still really not a problem. Also, as it turns out, his bombs hurt you if they hit you directly. Who would have thought, right? Fireman is still a sad, sad little man that can't handle someone standing up to him. Stay in his face, but keep in mind that the teleporter does obstruct your jump since he can actually slip into it. Thankfully, with no ice on the ground, you could step out of the teleporter so you could jump over Iceman's Ice Slasher. Also, is it just me, or does the gap you need to jump not seem as tight? I ended up clearing him here without getting a hit, as you can see from my jolly jumps of joy. Gutsman isn't terrible to dodge, but as you can see, I'm still an idiot and take a bunch of damage from him. Wait, Gutsman, what are you doing? Gutsman, back off! After that harrowing experience, it's finally time to face down Dr. Wily. Unfortunately, in the first round, he decides to show us Mega Man with DLSS 5 on. After recovering from death, we enter the room for real. In the first phase, Wily tracks your position and lobs balls at you. All you really have to do is go back and forth, timing your jumps, and you'll tear through him in no time. Phase 2, on the other hand, is one tough customer. His only attack is a spiraling ball at your position. It spins in a counterclockwise motion, which has this odd habit of letting you simply walk toward Wily to avoid it. Provided you're close enough. Just dodge the shot, step out a little bit, jump, shoot, and walk toward Wily. It might take some practice to get these down, but once you do, he's a cakewalk. With that evil old bastard temporarily taken out of the picture forever, and our energy bills failing to murder our wallets, we end this run with a total of 15 energy with glitches, as far as I know, and 18 without. A special thank you to our patrons who made the stream possible, including MortyGotVR and Maureen Mostafer. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.